Hello there, and welcome to my channel, Novice Modelling in a Midlife Crisis. My name is Andy, and today I'm going to try to explain to you my kind of obsession with smaller World War II era European nations and the aircraft that they flew, and kind of where I think it originated from many months ago, kind of by accident. I'm kind of hoping that it might give you some sort of inkling as to why I've been spending a lot of money over the past couple of months assembling quite a large eclectic collection of both 172 aircraft and 135 armoured vehicle units, and where I'm kind of hoping my channel is going to go over the next couple of months and what I'm going to sort of utilise these kits for. So early on, I kind of went through a stage as a sort of novice of what I called my dirty dozen building phase, where I was really just throwing kits together in, as little time as possible, because I wanted to put some kits on the bench to try to figure out various painting techniques and just basic painting at the end of the day, and try to get my head around it, because I kind of assumed that putting a rather basic 172 kit together was not a massive task, and doing it kind of well would just come to me eventually. And I think I've got to that stage now. But some of the kits we've got here, these are from that era where, literally I just put a kit together and I didn't really care. I just wanted to build some kits at the end of the day. So, I mean, like I say, the more important topic up for discussion here is where my sort of passion, if you want to call it that, for these sort of slightly less well-known operators of generally well-known aircraft, and in some cases some rather sort of outlandish and bizarre aircraft, and ones that a lot of you probably haven't heard of, has come from. And I think it all basically started with this particular kit here, which is a PM plastic model kit. It was actually made in Turkey, and for anyone that's seen one of these, they're not exactly the best kits or the most accurate. And at £10 it's kind of a sort of throwaway thing. But when I bought it, I bought it based on it's a Spitfire, because I had about 30 Spitfires that I wanted to do in my dirty dozen phase, and this one just seemed a little bit interesting because it was Turkish. I didn't really pay any attention to what was going on in the background when I picked it up off eBay, but when it came, I noticed that, one, you've got a Turkish Spitfire, and then you've got this Turkish FW190 in the background. And I kind of thought, well, that's kind of bizarre that you have two of the sort of main protagonists in the air flying united side by side. This is obviously post-war, so I kind of found that kind of interesting. And obviously I picked up this KP Vickers Supermarine Spitfire Mark LF 9E, which is quite obviously marked up in check markings, and I thought that's kind of interesting as well. But I randomly picked up this Encore Models, which is a Hella Reeboks Mark 1, Mark 1A, Mark 2A, and it came with these kind of bizarre markings that originally I just couldn't figure out what they were, even though it kind of says on here Portuguese Air Force, which I just missed. But I kind of found that interesting as well, that the Spitfire was marked up in so many different places. And obviously you've got this one, which is the Israelis versus the Egyptians, this obviously being post-war also, and this dual pack by a Z model, and this CoPro, which shows a post-war Mark 9C flying for the 51st Stormo Air Regiment, done up in Italian markings. And this one, this Mark 5B Messerspit, which actually has a Daimler-Benz 605A1 engine mounted in the front. And then you go on to this Airfix Club, which is under the Red Star, which has got this Spitfire, a Curtiss P-40B Warhawk, and a Hurricane done up in Russian markings. And I just thought, well, what a fascinating sort of theme that all this is. So I didn't really think too deeply about it at the time, and I just went on my way and started building a few kits and putting them together. Not particularly well, I might add. One of the early ones that we kind of did was this Spitfire 5B by Plastic Model, which, as you can probably tell, it's not the greatest model. I'm not exactly certain whether this is the correct cockpit cover. I don't think it is, but this is the one that kind of fit best. So obviously we put the Turkish markings on as best we could, but they really didn't sort of set very well, and the ones from underneath the wings here, they just basically disintegrated in my hands. So this was kind of like our first sort of venture, if you like. And I thought it would kind of be fun to try and pair it with a FW190, even though, you know, my painting skills aren't kind of anywhere near sort of attacking these sorts of complex German painting schemes at the time. And I kind of came up with this, and to be fair, you know, the painting on here was done by hand, and it's the paint has gone on very heavy. I think I might have forgot to thin it out, to be quite honest with you, but them's the breaks when you kind of getting trying to get your head around this. And this sort of dappled effect I did here, I just did with a little tiny bit of sponge, and I kind of thought it looked kind of good, but it doesn't really look anything like what's depicted here. And the 13 that I had kind of disintegrated, so we got this random blue 4. But I did then discover that you can pick up sort of random decals off eBay for a couple of quid, you know, and maybe we can sort of add these in, you know, to various aircraft to try and kind of get the look we're going for. I mean, obviously this check variant came with some check colours, but these are quite yellowed, so I'm not quite sure how they're going to come out. But anyway, I kind of decided at some point several months ago that this is kind of a theme that I wanted to sort of explore. And it's taken me down a whole rabbit hole of buying hundreds and hundreds. I think it's actually about 300 172 aircraft kits I actually have now. So I've got a hell of a lot to go through eventually, and it'll probably take me 8 years. And this is sort of turned into what I call my big plan, which is basically going to be to sort of put a bunch of kits on the bench and let you guys sort of pick which one I build. But more about that a bit later on. So anyway, we've got these ones here, and I'm not kind of particularly satisfied with how these have turned out, because they're really not that great, full of gaps and sort of poor attempts at using various sorts of filling aids to deal with the gaps that were mainly caused by the fact that I didn't really pay them much attention when I built them. So what we kind of decided to do to add to our sort of growing kits is we didn't use the provided decals, and what we're going to do is we're going to build this Mark 1A at some point, and we're going to stick these Portuguese markings on it. We're going to build this Italeri Mark 5B, and we're going to find some suitable Turkish markings to go on that one. We'll build this. I mean, obviously we don't really need two Israeli Mark 9Es, so we're going to utilize the Czech markings to go with that one. And, you know, we'll rebuild these ones here. I haven't actually built these, and we'll get ourselves another FW190, and we'll try and do a sort of more accurate job of this one. So, you know, this is basically trying to tell you where I'm going with the channel, and I'm kind of hoping that you guys, you know, might just find it as interesting as I do, because I don't know, there's something about somebody building another RAF Spitfire or another RAF Hurricane that just really isn't that interesting, I don't think. So what we've kind of got together is a whole bunch of kits now that come in a variety of, you know, different markings. So the plan basically is to have a go at them. So there's some, you know, regular sort of favourites that we've obviously got that I'm sure a lot of you have seen on my haul unboxings. So we'll be doing something like this BF109 G6 in Finnish markings. And we'll be doing this Gloucester Gauntlet Mark II in Finnish markings. And we have this Hawker Hart B4 in Finnish markings. And we have this captured Russian I-153 winter version with the skis in Finnish markings. And we have this Special Hobby Aero A11HS in Finnish markings. And we have this Brewster 239 Buffalo in Finnish markings. So the general idea is I'm going to put 6 kits on the bench, and I'm going to open it up to you guys via the comments section as to which kit you want me to build, because this, you know, and these aren't going to be, you know, this is just an example. So we'll put 6 kits on the bench, and you guys can tell me which one you want to see built. The logic as well, you know, sort of extends to various sort of historical sort of document records that you can kind of introduce into this. So we've got a whole bunch of these sort of Osprey Aircraft of the Aces books, either here or sort of on order. And, you know, I mean, this is basically the history of the more well-known the more well-known aces that flew on the various fronts with these various aircrafts. And I think that one is actually this one here. So you can see the marking is BW364, and hopefully you can just about make out that that's BW364. So while we're building this, we'll be having a look at this as well. And you know, obviously these sort of things do sort of cross over into 135s. So I mean, I randomly picked up this book, which is Finland's History and Models. So it's got a whole load of kits that have already been built, and we have a Westland Lysander in our collection, and we do have the appropriate decals to go with it as well. So don't think I'm concentrating on the Finns. I mean, obviously there's a whole range of different smaller air forces that we can go at. So that includes like the Romanians, the Bulgarians, the Hungarians. We've got a load of Swedish, we've got a load of Dutch, we've got French, pre-invasion and Vichy France. We've got a load of Russian aircraft, we've got a bundle of Czech, you know, to go with our regular sorts of British and American aircraft also. And I'm going to transfer this sort of theory into trying to build some of my massive sort of 200 kit collection of 135 kits as well. So every week or so we'll sort of change from doing aircraft and we'll go and do some 135 kits. So we'll just look at some Africa Corps kits, or we'll look at some sorts of trucks, or we'll look at some motorbikes. And again, the theory will be the same, that I'll just put 6 kits in front of you and you tell me which one to build. So I'm kind of hoping you guys are going to find this all kind of interesting, because that's kind of the way I'm going to be going. Thumbs up, thumbs down for a good idea or not? No idea. Let me know in the comments bar. So that's where we're going to be going over the next months and years, try and get through some of the 500 kits that I seem to have now piled up in every corner available of the house. I have actually been on a trip recently to visit a very nice guy called Mikey, who lived in Cornwall, and he had a collection of, we think, roughly 5,000 kits in his converted piggery. And I literally spent my time there, 2 days there, like the proverbial pig in mud, rummaging through all the kits that he had. And there's a bunch of videos online now and coming up that will be going through his collection. So it kind of made me feel happy that I wasn't the only person that had a mammoth collection of kits. The only difference is I'm a novice and I don't really know what I'm doing. So be patient. You know, in a couple of years I might actually be half decent at this model making malarkey. Hopefully you'll have the chance to follow my adventure. So there'll be another video which kind of goes a little bit more deeper into the collection we have of 172 and 135 kits that we're going to be sort of concentrating on in the next couple of months. A couple of people have actually asked me to do a video of my collection. I did a rough count the other day, which I haven't done for a couple of months because it scares the bejesus out of me. And it's around about 200 135s and 300 172 aircraft, plus the 50 odd kits that I think I've already built. So yeah, got a bit of a kit buying problem, which we might have to deal with by sort of cutting up our cards and getting rid of eBay or something, but that's the way it's going to go. So again, thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe, and please do have a look at some of our what's in the box reviews that we've done. We've got about 150 what's in the box reviews already uploaded, so you take that away from the 500 kits ish that I've got, and you're going to get hit with another 350 what's in the box videos over the next year or so. So there you go. There's plenty to watch on the channel and plenty going on, and hopefully it might keep you interested for the next 8 years, which is the minimum amount of time that I think it's going to take me to get through all these kits. Probably more like 16, but I'm being positive, trying very hard to be positive, trying really hard to be positive here. So be seeing you.